All right, welcome back. This is the Rotten Rewind podcast with Enokh Xmortiz and my co-host,
Ill Fortune. And we got a pretty fun episode today. We are going to be talking about a couple different things. One of those things is going to be a friendly debate on which is better, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 or the 2003 remake. Who knows? I mean, it's a hard one. They're both really good movies.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to roll into a little discussion about Enoch's favorite 80s horror movie, Night of the Demons. Cult classic, amazing movie, fun conversation on the way. After that, we are going to talk a little bit about zombies. Where did they come from? What kinds of zombies are there? We're also going to talk about how each of us would survive a zombie apocalypse. And you guys can let us know in the comments after, how would you survive a zombie apocalypse and make the most of it, right?
Yes, let us know.
And to top it all off, we are going to have a review of a newer horror movie that came out a month ago called Lowlifes, available on Tubi. That's Lowlifes with an F, not a V. Came out last month. People are saying it's the best horror movie of 2024. We
It's
don't
up
know.
for debate.
It's up for
We'll
debate.
see.
Yeah, so we will offer a spoiler-free and a spoiled review of that movie at the very end of this. Anyways, Enokh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother, and yourself.
I am fan-fucking-tastic. I got my lawn mowed finally after 3 days of dicking around with an electric mower, so.
Oh, yeah. See, I've been setting up for getting the shows and everything lined up, so got a busy summer coming up.
Yep, and for you guys that don't know, my studio's empty because I'm trying to move right now. I haven't really talked too much about that, but it's kind of echoey in here. My whole setup is basically packed away. I wish I could be doing shows like Enokh is, but I got other pressing matters at hand. But anyways,
take care of the home life.
Yeah, it's important. But you guys didn't come here to hear that shit. You came here to hear us talk about horror movies. So let's really quick talk about some stuff going on in the horror world right now. A big one that people are getting pretty hyped about is, it turns out Friday the 13th is making a comeback. Not the way you would think, though. After Victor Miller got the rights back, he's the guy who wrote the first Friday the 13th movie. He held the rights up in a legal battle for several years, causing the video game to get shut down, or it's getting shut down later this year. Movies weren't being made, nothing was happening, but now he has the rights to it and can make the decision. So we heard today that some sort of deal with Warner Bros. Has been struck, and Jason is going to enter the multiverse, which can mean a lot of things. New video games, much more merchandise. So we might see the rest of those NECA Friday the 13th figures come in. That's pretty huge.
That is.
We're going to see TV show adaptation. We already know about that if it comes to
With
fruition.
A24?
Well, they actually left. A24 left. Yeah, that's been talked about too. So
I was actually excited. I enjoy A24 and
do
their
too.
strange, weird films. So I was kind of excited to see what they would do with it.
Yeah, why did they leave is the big question. Are they making decisions?
Yes.
The producers making decisions that they don't like, or maybe the writers? I don't know. But the show is still coming to fruition. That's what we know so far. But yeah, just the idea that Jason is making a comeback, that I'm guessing we'll get a new movie in the next couple of years. Why wouldn't we? Just all the possibilities to start seeing merchandise rolling out, video games, TV shows, movies. It's fucking awesome. It's what we've all wanted.
So that makes me wonder, with all the merchandise that you see come from Fright Rags, or, all these companies out there do shirts, like this Pantera mashup Friday the 13th shirt. Is this even legit, or are these people just been making this stuff without licensing? That's what it had to have been happening if everything's tied up, right?
If it's since I think the lawsuit started in 2018 or 19 maybe. There was no way they could have gotten a license during that lawsuit. If they came out during that lawsuit, they either got the license before or it's being illegally done, because nobody was getting any licenses during that time. That's for sure. So, but we already see NECA just dropped a thing. It's an accessory pack for the NECA, or the Friday the 13th figures. I don't know if it was an old pack or if it's a new thing, but it looks pretty good and the deal's good.
You think they'll do Kid Jason with the canoe?
I think they're going to do everything now that they can, because they were doing all the Friday the 13th movie figures up until part, I think 7 was the last one, if I remember correctly. And I have all of them, dude. The only ones I need is 8, 9, and Jason X. That's all I need, and they haven't made those ones yet.
Did they do Jason Goes to Hell?
No, they didn't do Manhattan. They didn't do Jason Goes to Hell or Jason X. Those are the big three that people want. So.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm excited for that. But rolling off of that, there was something happening this year that I am even more excited for than Friday the 13th. And that is a remake of one of my favorite movies of all time, Street Trash.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Now, it's hush-hush. There's not much information floating around the web, but all we know is that it is in production and hopefully getting wrapped up, or it might even be wrapped up and getting released this year. So fingers crossed, Street Trash remake. If you've never seen the original, go watch it. If you want to see a psychedelic splatter film of maximum proportion, Street Trash is the film for you.
Yeah, great movie. And that remake is going to be, might I say, legendary. For real.
Yes. Oh, yeah. One more tad bit. We also got that Toxic Avenger remake this year.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out in October-ish.
Oh, wait. Did it finally get distribution?
For theater, I heard that it was coming in October.
Because we know that it premiered, I believe, last September at film festivals, and they didn't have distribution. But you're telling me now they got a theater release date in October?
From what I had been hearing and understanding, it's October, November, in that time slot. From what I've been hearing. So
that is great effing news. I love that.
Let's go.
That alone just made my night so much better, knowing that, because I have been just eagerly waiting to hear news about that shit.
Man. I'm so on the edge of my seat with these releases.
Right on.
So, yes.
We got some things to look forward to in 2024. Before we get into the first segment, the Texas Chainsaw debate, we're going to answer some questions from one of our fans. This one is from, who is it, Enokh?
My brother, Sean Tallman. You guys know him. If you follow either of us, especially me, I'm always posting the man's artwork every chance I get.
Sean is awesome. He has done artwork for both of us. He is working with us for custom artwork for an endeavor that him and I got going on, me and Enokh here. I don't want to talk too much about the Mutanoid Underground Dwellers, but people who know us already know a little bit about it. More to come on that. But anyways, let's get into some of these questions. Sean hit us with a couple. We'll answer two of them.
Let me hear them.
First one, did either of you read Goosebumps as kids? And if so, what was your favorite book? Enokh?
Yeah. Yes, I did. So my favorite, it's tied. I really enjoyed The Haunted Mask. Who didn't? Haunted Mask is iconic. But I think the one that creeped me out the most, like as a kid, was Don't Go in the Basement.
Oh, yeah, both really good ones.
Where the father was a plant.
Yep.
That was terrifying.
Even the TV show adaptation of that book was really good. Not all of them were great.
Both of them, The Haunted Mask and Don't Go in the Basement, both of the adaptation for TV was amazing.
Yep. So obvious answer for me is a yes. That's basically all I read as a kid was Goosebumps books. Like legit, all I would read. Even in high school, I was still reading them.
Yes.
My favorite one has got to be Night of the Living Dummy.
I knew you, yeah. Which one? 1, 2, or 3?
The first one, probably.
One?
I had a book that had all of them in it. So it was like one big book, and I could just read them all through.
Oh, that's sweet.
It was super dope. But the first one, is classic. But on the heels of that, it would be The Haunted Mask is so good. It's a classic.
Iconic.
Arguably one of the best Goosebumps books ever made. All right, one more question before we get into it. Favorite masks for Leatherface, Jason, and Michael Myers?
All right, this is going to be a good one. You want to start off? I'm taking you for the Pretty Woman.
You think? No, I got to say it's the Killing Mask. Leatherface's original Killing Mask is my favorite slasher mask out of any killer out there. It's just, to me, it's so bizarre and creepy and emotionless. I just love the Killing Mask. What about you for Leatherface?
For Leatherface, I'm going to go with the 2003 remake. I love the patchwork of that, and I love the dual hair. Black on this side, brown on this side. The way that is for me, I love the whole structure of it. I think it's menacing, it's mean, and it just conveys true terror when you see it.
Look at that. The debate's already starting. We're not even there yet. What about Jason? Oh man, I got to think on Jason for a
Ooh.
sec. If you want to go first, I got to think
Yeah,
about that.
okay. I'm gonna go with is it Jason? Ooh, I'm gonna go with just I think it's 6, right? Or which one is it with Little Tommy?
With Little Tommy, it'd be part 4.
Part 4. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that mask. I like that one. I just like that classic look. But you know what? Now I'm thinking about it. I really like the structure and the look of the 2009.
Really? Ooh, I didn't see that coming. Whoa.
Yeah, that I like that one. The original one's just more like hockey mask, like, you know.
Yeah.
But like that one's like has like that like concave sharpness around the like kind of like a blockier chin part. I think that one looks really sick.
So I was gonna say part 3 because it has a very distinct look to it, where it is kind of like more blocky, like you're saying, similar to the 2009 one. And it's clean and stuff. I like that version, but really my favorite one is the Freddy versus Jason mask. There's something about the shape of it, the texture, the weathering to it.
I glossed right over that one. I don't know how I glossed right over that. It didn't even cross my mind. I'm thinking of the original lineup. That didn't even cross my mind. That is a great mask.
It's really good.
That one's top notch.
Yeah, me and my little brother made that one. I mean, he made all of them for me. I think we talked about that once, but that was one him and I worked on together. So it was kind of a fun project for him and I.
Now, see, when you're thinking of the Jason mask, you almost have to include his scalp in that. And I think if we're including the scalp, for sure, the Freddy versus Jason one, where there's a little bit of hair strand.
Yeah.
That sounds sick. Yes.
I love it. Yeah, it's just like gray hairs and shit. Yeah, no, it's fucking awesome. Michael Myers, I gotta go with the original, man. Nothing beats the original Myers mask for me.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I want to have the original one is iconic, but I think Rob Zombie did the mask better. I like Rob Zombie's mask. I like the aginess of it. It's definitely not 4 or 5.
No, of course
it's definitely not those ones.
I am such a stickler about his fucking mask when I watch those movies, man. I am just like so.
I love that natty hair and just what don't you like about it?
No, I do like the Rob Zombie one.
Oh, okay.
I think the Rob Zombie one is great. I don't like it as much weathered. I like it in the beginning when it's still clean, but I think it has a really good look to it. It's very demented, but still emotionless.
You think they use the same mold for that? I was always curious if.
No,
now
definitely
you think
not.
It's a new sculpt, everything?
Yeah, when movies like that are being made, they don't anticipate that it's going to be such a legendary success. You know, they don't think it's going to be.
Keep the mold.
Yeah, they throw that shit away most of the time, and then when it blows up, they're like,
well, they didn't even have a mold for the original. It was just a Captain Kirk mask that they cut up. So yeah.
I can imagine that trying to get the exact
look
is hard.
The brow of the Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that. The brow it's more arched in a way, you know? So I like that.
Yeah, I feel that. You know, I think that in the Halloween Kills movie, those flashback sequences, I love how they did his mask in those sequences. It looks, to me, like more closer to the original mask than any other mask they've used in any of the movies. Just in those flashbacks.
What'd you think of Halloween Ends mask with the half melted?
Get the fuck out of here.
That was not it. Yo,
that wasn't it. No.
The Halloween Kills, where it's like kind of, messed up. That was fine. That's fine.
But I'm talking about like the flashback sequences in Kills when it shows him back in the 70s again.
Oh, yeah. Where he's holding that dude by the window.
Yeah, because it looks like everything about that sequence just feels like the original movie. Right down to the filter they threw on it. It felt like a 70s Halloween movie. So if they ever do another movie, it needs to take place in the late 70s, early 80s. It just has to, man.
Yeah, and they don't even need to use that mask. They need to use the other mask he wore in part 4. Or is it 5? He kills that guy and he puts on that other mask. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, God, you're talking about the one with, like, the cigar hanging out of it or whatever? The big, like, eyebrows on it? Oh,
yes.
God. Oh, that fucking movie,
man. There you
go,
Sean. That's my favorite, the cigar mask.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Sean. Thank you for those questions.
Yeah,
hey, if you guys want to ask us any questions, you can reach out directly to Enokh, to me. You can comment below on the video. Anyway, anyhow.
Yes,
and
comment
we will
down here. Get some discussion going. We are eagerly awaiting questions.
Yeah, we will, like I said, we'll try not to answer them directly in the comments, but maybe we will. If not, we'll save them for the next episode, and we will give you a shout out, answer your question on the podcast. And yeah, we love that type of stuff. Gets our minds going. So anyways, you ready to get into this shit, Enokh?
Yes, let's get it going. Let's roll.
Yep.
All right, so we are diving into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, we're going to take a good look at the original, Ill Fortune's personal favorite, and my personal favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is the 2003 remake.
2003 remake, huh?
Yes.
Oh, see, I thought the third movie was your favorite one, the Leatherface one. That's going to make this even spicy. Okay.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, my obvious pick for the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre film has got to be the 1974 film. I mean, it's a masterpiece. It set the bar of horror higher than it ever had been at that point or before that point.
Yep.
I can't say enough good things about it. You guys are going to hear that. What about you, though?
So for the original, I love how it like makes you feel like you're a part of the movie, like with the camera in the van, and like it feels like you're not supposed to be there, and it merely is. It creates that setting that only the original could do.
Yeah, and I gotta say that past the original movie, the 2003, 2006 ones are next up for me. Like, I gotta say that they are fucking great. I'm not as good as the first one, obviously, but they're good. They're better than a lot of the other ones, like the third one, Leatherface. Not terrible, but they blow it out of the water. Part 2, obviously, is no contest. Part 2 is only good because it has Chop Top, in my opinion. He's like the most redeemable thing about that movie,
Yeah.
But
I agree.
When we get right down to the nitty gritty of it, the first one did some things historically that just can't go unnoticed. I mean, the fact that they were able to have such a gruesome and twisted film without like any blood, like I think they used less than like 6 ounces of blood on that whole film, something like that. It's nuts, dude.
Yeah, most of it was probably from the finger prick of Sally.
Yeah,
to feed Grandpa.
Exactly. And Franklin, not Franklin. It was Franklin got his hand cut.
It was Franklin,
But the fact that it's a lot of implied gore. But, we've talked about that with other movies and how we hate that type of shit, but it's so good in the Texas Chainsaw that you don't really notice it. I mean, a good example is when the girl gets hung on the meat hook. It never shows the meat hook coming through her body, but feel it. You feel that meat hook go through her back.
And then right after that, he starts to carve up the guy who's on the table in front of her, and you also don't see that.
Yeah, but know what's happening, and it gets in your head a lot. And what I really love about it is the soundscape of it. The fact that there's not really music in it, but just sound effects, like metallic sounds and just crazy noises.
Very industrial. It has this industrial soundtrack to it, which, Toby Hooper made all that himself, I believe, in his house, right? So that's like even cooler. Like the cultural achievements that movie made, you cannot take anything away from that. It had a huge impact on where horror films were heading. And who knows where we would be if we didn't have a movie. I'm sure another movie would have came along to do something along that. But with it being what it was and how early it was, it set the bar. And
it blew minds, man. It's just nobody expected that shit. I wish I could have experienced that in the 70s, dude. Can you imagine?
100%. That would have been something insane, But So I look at it like this, from rewatchability, from my personal opinion. If we were to strip away all the cultural enrichment that it gave to the horror community, and we were just left with the movie itself, bare bones, we're not taking any outside perspective, we're not looking at any of the achievements or the bar being set, anything at all, and we're comparing the remake to the original cinematically, I believe that the remake is a superior film, in my opinion, for me to rewatch. When I want to watch Leatherface, I grab that movie. I don't normally reach for the original. And let's let's go on and we'll dive into some of this.
I can hear what you're saying, because if you're talking about a story and you're talking about cast of characters and each of them having their own personality, yeah, 2003 is way better than the other one. There's more substance to it. There's more to get into. I mean, they have their own things going on, their own lives that are not taken away from them because of Leatherface and the family. The stakes definitely feel higher, whereas in the original, they didn't feel high at all. You just feel like it's just some kids getting killed off, and it's just a really dark depiction of it.
Yep.
But, what I got to say really is that you can feel how much dread that those actors were in the original one, because the way that movie was made was so gruesome. It was like torture for everybody.
Boot camp. It was boot camp for those guys. And, when you learn the backstory of the production of the original, it's almost mind-blowing to see the dedication that these people had for this film and the stuff they went through to get it made. So, yeah, all props to that. That is what, in my mind, helps create it and solidify it as the original, as a masterpiece through and through.
Yeah, but you can really feel it, man. I think that's why it has such a unique vibe to it as opposed to any other movie in horror, is because the setting was genuinely that gross and that disgusting. I mean, the shirt that Leatherface wears, that striped shirt, they didn't wash that the entire time. Yeah, that thing was
120 degrees inside at the dinner table, and you know, and a lot of that has to do with because it was the first. So there was no blueprint on how to do this stuff, So they're gathering real animal bones from the farms, and they're in the gritty. I'd almost compare it to like Vietnam. Like they're in the thick of it, guerrilla style, making this movie, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem artificial. It feels genuine. But let's talk about Leatherface, comparing each Leatherface to each other. I mean, what do you think that 2003 has going for him?
Horror. He is truly terrifying. Give me goofy Leatherface from the original compared to 6'7" Brock Lesnar with a mask on. That dude is terrifying, bro.
I mean, I'm not convinced by his mask. That's my biggest quarrel with them. It's a terrifying mask, don't get me wrong.
I love his mask.
But to me, it doesn't look like a real flesh mask. To me, anyways. Like, it looks like a Hollywood depiction.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about the one that is stitched up that he wears with the half black hair, half brown hair. See, I love that mask. And I also love the mask of the old boy who he skins and wears when he's sawing that girl through the puffy jacket and he looks back. That scene is so beautifully shot.
You're talking about the one where he's outside and they see him in front of the car and it's like a fresh mask. I love that scene too. That scene was like one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, he's wearing that girl's boyfriend, Jessica Biel.
Yeah. It's, there was some good fresh flesh masks in that one. It was just like the main one that he had, that fourth, I don't know. It looked Hollywood to me.
See, I love how it did the mouth in that one. Instead of being like the cleft lip, it was kind of just off to the side. And like that meaner look.
It looked like it was inspired by the original one. It has similar features to it, just the texture of the mask looks different to me. The original mask to me looked like real dried out leathery skin. Like it looked like leather on his face, and it's just a better look. You can
almost see the light reflecting through the original mask at some scenes in the movie. Yeah, so it did kind of look like that dried out carcass that you'd see in Roadkill or something.
Yeah, and then I've heard the guy who made it talking about how he made it. He used like latex with fiberglass or something like that. He layered it on pretty heavy, and then when latex dries, it naturally has that yellowish brown skin look. I've made tons of flesh masks, with latex and shit. And it's, I don't know. I wish they would just go more simple with it instead of going crazy with the Hollywood effects when they do these.
The reason I like the remakes mask because I love that real thick stitching and how it's anchored across the face in different patterns like that. I love that look. It reminds me of like old school Frankenstein creature, like when you've seen the old school Stitch with that real thick lines. But moving on from just the mask, let's talk about my favorite part of the entire remake, the color grading. That movie is so beautifully done. It has the color itself takes you into this sense of middle of nowhere despair, white trash. You ain't, like when she finds them people in the trailer and the open field, the way that it was shot is so beautiful. When they go into that abandoned industrial area where they find that little kid with the crazy teeth, who's like, like you just got this sense of like, oh, this is grimy.
Yeah, no, I feel that it is. It sets the Texas setting very well. You feel like you're in like a disgusting hot Texas climate, and you're just dreading it. I will say I love the fucking cast in that movie, like the expanded family. The maybe even some of them that weren't family, like the people out in like the trailers and shit. And I might be mixing up the 2003 and 2006 ones a little bit, even though they go hand in hand. One's a prequel to the other one.
Yeah. I was gonna say that. I think they have all the same characters in it. They do.
So I'm basically referring to both of them as one and the same at this point. But just the different characters out in the trailers, the little kid, like you're saying, with the fucked up teeth and shit. He looked like he could be a young Leatherface, That's what I imagine him looking as a kid, But, it is a hard debate. I would say that this one is more gruesome, bloody. How many chainsaw kills do you think Leatherface got in the 03 one? Was that his primary weapon?
3.
It was 3 total?
3. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3. Yeah, I'm going to say 3 or 2. But
well, he tops the original one because he only had the one chainsaw kill on Franklin in the first one.
Yep, and, that was another thing that I didn't like how in the original, how they all walk into the house and they get boom, hit in the head, walk in the house. Like doing it once is like, all right, but then he does it again to that other guy, the disco looking guy. And I was like, So,
yeah, there could have been more of a chase, pursuit, suspense build up there.
Yeah.
Maybe the whole, it was 1974. The idea of a chase pursuit from a serial killer maybe wasn't as big at that time.
Well, they're setting the bar, so literally no one else is doing it. So
yeah, and there was a chase. It was with Sally though. It was just the one chase, but it lasted a while, dude. Leatherface got some cardio in that fucking movie. He can go.
Yeah, yeah. He does the first lap to the house, then she jumps out the window, then starts lap number 2.
Yeah. You know what I love about the first one though is the subtle details in the the attention to detail, I should say. Like with his mask, there's a gouge in the center forehead, and I've heard people speculate about what that is. I'm pretty sure it was when he killed the victim, whose face that is, he must have hit him in the forehead with the hammer, leaving a fucking hole in their fucking skin. So when he cut the face off, it still had a hole there. That would explain it, because he hits fucking, what's his name?
He hits both those dudes in the head with a hammer.
Was it Kirk or something like that? Yeah.
So
it's like the small attention to detail. And then the part where I think his name's Kirk, he's on the ground when he gets hit with the hammer, and his feet are kicking. He's like a fucking fish out of water,
I do love that. That, especially at that time, that had to have been something brutal to see. Yeah. I really enjoy that part.
And nobody does that. No, even with the new horror movies, they don't think about how a body would react to blood force to the head. And the fact that back in the 70s they were thinking about that and doing that it's crazy to me that no one still does shit like that.
Yeah, see, I feel like they try to stay true to that with the kills in the remake. Except they just amped it. Like the brutality in that one, where he hangs dude from the chandelier and saws him through the crotch up. And they also do the same trick where they don't show you that. They barely kind of show you that, but they don't show it to you like that. And I really enjoyed that. And I love the character build of Sheriff Hewitt.
Yes, can't forget to talk about Sheriff. He kind of steals the show in a way. He's like the main character.
He is so good. When he knocks dude's teeth out, he's like, oh, now we might. Like, that's the best. I love that.
Dude, I loved
what you boys been doing with his body. She's a little moist. I said, this dude.
He was
Get that plastic wrap. He starts wrapping her up. And hey, there's another one too. Comparing the hitchhikers, So the other hitchhiker is a part of it. And then they flip the script, and this hitchhiker is a victim. And when she pulls that revolver out of her secret hair pocket and blows her brains out the back of that van. And
that the camera shot, all the way one shot through.
How genius was that, dude? and then it drops backwards through the. That was, and that's the end. Like, they really came cinematically prepared to make that movie. Like, I love it, and that scene right there sets the pace for the rest of the film. You're just like, oh my god! It starts off so smooth, and then, blah.
That's got to be one of the best scenes, like ever, like the best shot scenes in horror movies ever. I want to know how they did that because it goes so perfectly.
The smoke's still rolling. The smoke's still rolling out of her mouth. As what?
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, you got to go watch 2003 Texas Chainsaw for that scene alone. It's amazing.
First 5 minutes. Yeah, you gotta wait long.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great movie, man. The one thing that bugs me about it is when he takes off his mask and shows his face. I didn't like that because he's like missing his nose and shit. You know? Do you remember that scene?
I think you're thinking of the 2006.
The prequel one.
Yeah, you're thinking of the prequel one. I don't think he does that in the 2003.
Yeah. Again, I'm kind of speaking of them as one and the same because it's
2006 one is awesome too.
They're both amazing. Really are.
It doesn't hold a light to the 2003 in my opinion. 2003 is far superior than the beginning, but the beginning is just as great. I like the what was it, Hewitt family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Hewitt. I like that version. I just like that family. Like what you're saying, the build up of that. It wasn't as many like. It would have been cool if they put like Leatherface brothers in, into the remake. I would have loved to see like a new Chop Top type character. Like that would have set the remake all the way up here,
Weirdly enough, I actually got a friend named Tom Hewitt. I think he loves Texas Chainsaw, so it's just ironic. It's hard to say at the end of the day which one's better. One thing I wish more going forward, more the movies would do is try to pay homage to the original one. Like the remake that you were talking about, 03, paid so much homage, and it was the best kind of remake you could imagine.
You could tell who made that had a true passion and love for the original movie, and that's the only type of people that they should be hiring for a remake ever.
Yeah,
ever.
None of the other ones carried those same vibes. Like the Netflix one was so just, I don't hate the movie. I don't hate the Netflix one, but it doesn't feel like a Texas Chainsaw movie to me.
It's not for me. I don't like when they put social commentary on everything, and I felt like that movie was just trying to push like the social commentary aspect a little bit too hard for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, and then they bring out old Sally, dude, she with a double barrel shotgun.
To make it a legacy sequel, and it didn't need that.
What are you doing,
It felt like they were trying to bite Halloween at that point.
Exactly. That's exactly. I said, dude, what is, like, why? It doesn't even. Well, you guys could have done it in a more classy way, but her coming back with the shotgun and like this revenge arc thing, it's like, I don't know, it just didn't work for me.
The redeemable thing about that movie is that it's closer to the Ed Gein story than any of the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies are.
And the mother lover.
Yeah, having a mother dynamic, and when she dies, that's when he goes off the deep end and starts killing motherfuckers, and he wears her face. That's like the face he's wearing is her fucking face the whole movie. That's
this
more
This one is a direct sequel to the original.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't make any sense because in the original it was just him and his brothers and grandpa. So where does his mom come in? And where's his town?
Well, it explains that. It explains that after the events of the first one that he got placed in like a foster home because he's technically like mentally disabled.
Oh, okay.
And once he was in the foster home, he had structure and he learned to behave, and then he was but he could never leave that place, so she took care of him.
Is that what Leatherface is about? That one they tried to make in 2017?
No, that one's not connected. That's just a prequel, a standalone prequel. No connection.
Yeah, it shouldn't have a connection anyways. That movie is complete garbage. What
they do at the end of the Netflix one, I don't know if it was after credits or what, but they show him walking back to the original house, and it shows the house kind of overgrown and shit. So if they do a sequel...
There's another thing I want to pinpoint. The houses. From the original to the 2003 remake, the 2003 takes the cake. That house is insane.
Oh, God, dude. I love the house in the first one, man. It's smaller, yeah, but it's so fucking creepy. The way the table room with the lights and shit. I don't know. I love the first house.
Maybe it's, I also love the house in House of a Thousand Corpses, but in the Devil's Rejects house. You know, I think Rob Zombie drew some inspiration for Devil's Rejects from that remake, and I think he drew some inspiration for House of a Thousand Corpses house. He definitely did from the original house in the Texas Chainsaw, because they're different houses from House of a Thousand and Devil's Rejects.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. There's just something about them big, long pillars in the middle of that.
It's intimidating. It's odd and intimidating.
Yes, exactly. Like the original is just like kind of like, it's creepy. Don't get me wrong, but it's more like a house. But like when you look at the other one, you're just like you said, like, oh man.
Yeah. You know, shout out Texas Chainsaw Massacre 03 and the original 74. Both great films.
Yeah.
I hold them both in high
questions.
regards.
3 questions here for the original that came up to my head. First is, what happened to Pam in the freezer, right? So she just goes in the freezer and never show her again, so you just assume that she froze to death and was eaten.
I think she sprung up. I think it was some sort of like nerve reaction, maybe. Maybe she wasn't fully conscious when she did that, and she was still like in the process of freezing to death.
Freezing to death, yeah, okay. And then the cook with the broomstick, he slaps that knife on his Sally's hand. This knife is like this big. What? This dude with that broomstick, he's just whooping everybody, man. He's like a kung fu master with that thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But then the one part that always gets glanced over that had left me like puzzled and kind of wondering is that truck driver. Why didn't he drive away when he picked her up? Why did he just climb out the other side of the door? And what happened to him? So the blue truck picks her up, and then he's just still running down the road?
So the 2013 remake sequel, no, it's not a remake, it's a direct sequel to the first one. That's how it starts out, is with the events of what happened at the end of the first one. I don't know if you remember, but they show for a brief second, and I think it got cut out of the theatrical release of the movie, but it's in like the extended version. It shows that fucking truck driver in the kitchen on the meat hook all bloody, and it shows Leatherface standing there, and the cook is yelling at him. Cook's played by Bill Moseley, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's the one with Trey Songz. That one?
Who's Trey Songz?
The singer who is in that Leatherface, the one where he's living in the basement and the girl inherits the house.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw.
The rest of the movie is pretty mid, but the opening sequence of it is amazing because it gives you a little bit of what fans really want. It's just a shame that it didn't make the rest of the movie that. It should have all taken place the original house with the original fam.
Yeah, I like that they took care of that open ending thing right there.
Yeah, and
I was like, what happened to that truck driver?
So it's so funny when they show like, because Bill Moseley is playing the cook in that sequence, and they show flashbacks to the original movie, and they fucking like CGI'd Bill Moseley's head over the cook and redid the voice, and it's Bill Moseley doing it instead of the original cook.
Are you
go
serious?
Watch it. Yeah, go watch it, man, and make sure it's the extended version.
Okay, see, that's gotta be it, because I don't think I've ever watched the extended version.
Yeah,
because I would have remembered that. You know, like I love Bill Moseley. You know, there's no way I'm not going to notice Bill Moseley doing a performance.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I didn't even pick it up until I watched it on YouTube again a couple months ago, just for the sake of it. I looked up that intro because I just love it so much, and I was like, wait, that's fucking Bill Moseley. How did I not realize that was him? Like,
that's
and they
amazing.
have Gunnar Hansen plays one of the family members. Sitting there.
What?
He should have played Leatherface. If they had him there, just fucking have him wear the mask for that scene alone.
Shout out Gunnar. Check out Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. He plays the leader of a cult of chainsaw hookers, and he is the leader of them.
Really?
It's fucking, yeah.
Well, he's Leatherface, so why wouldn't he be the leader of that? You know,
it's so good. It's like running right off of that, so it's perfect.
Rest in peace, Gunnar Hansen.
Yes.
Anyways, man, I think, that we're going a little bit over time here, but I think we can agree to disagree that they're both fantastic fucking movies. Whichever one you guys like better is,
100%.
Is none wrong with liking one or the other. So, yeah.
All right, so next up, we're going to discuss Night of the Demons. Now, did you go and watch it? I'm sure you did. What was your initial thoughts?
Well, I've seen it before a few times, and I got to be completely honest with you, man. Every time I put that movie on, I find myself zoning out and picking up my phone and scrolling, and then I'm like, fuck, I want to pay attention to this. And it's not like, it's like every time I watch it, I want to pay attention. I just zone out so bad watching it. And I don't know why, because I can recognize that it's a great movie. It has a pretty colorful cast of characters, you know, and the setting is pretty cool. I think that like the first 20 minutes holds my attention the most. And then like the last like 30 or 20 minutes holds, it's in the middle. I get kind of like, I don't know. I just can't pay attention. My attention span sucks ass, but it's a good fucking movie. I will say that. The kills are fucking great. The gore is awesome. You know, there's a lot of ass, a lot of good ass.
Yes. Yeah, see, so Night of the Demons is, to me, a movie that encapsulates what the 80s was about, especially the 80s horror. So it hits every trope on the head perfectly. You have the cool guy, you have the fat guy, you got the black guy, you got the whore, you got the sassy girl and the nice girl, you know, and the way it does it, it's just the most 80s style. And one of the coolest intros you'll ever see for a horror movie, period. So they had actually hired an animator who used to work at Disney, who did all the villains, you know, Ursula from Little Mermaid. She was the character developer for those, animator. And they got her to come in and do the intro to this movie that was never supposed to be called Night of the Demons. It was actually called The Halloween Party.
I was going to mention that, yeah. I've seen that.
And a little funny thing is that when they were editing the end scene, because the guys who owned Halloween, you know, Michael Myers, threatened to sue them if they did Halloween Party, because it was coming right off of Halloween and they didn't want any connection and anybody to use.
Fuck, that's not even the same name. That's so bullshit.
Yep. So they changed it to Night of the Demons, and they just, at the end of the intro where it said Halloween Party, they just cropped over it with Night of the Demons. So I thought that was like, what? Hilarious.
Jeez.
But I think it worked in their favor, because Night of the Demons is way more memorable than Halloween Party.
That animated intro they do for that movie with the music, I love that part too.
Yes.
That's a pretty cool intro.
So cool. And that's the makeup, right? The makeup in that. Insane. The practical effects, all practical effects, no CGI whatsoever.
The eye gouging scene is one of my favorites I've ever seen in a movie. It's like the way the eyeball pops and there's just the jelly all over the fucking place.
And Linnea Quigley, my favorite Scream Queen, is, you know, she stars in it, and she has a scene where she's pushing the lipstick into her nipple.
That part is so fucking trippy, man. It's one of my favorite parts.
Yes, that's a gelatin-made breastplate that the guy who was the special effects director, he had worked on a video drone. Cronenberg.
Oh yeah, nice.
Now, if you remember Cronenberg's film, the guy reaches into his torso and pulls out the gun, flesh gun. Mm-hmm. So they just recreated that setup to do the whole lipstick, nipple pressing, disappear magic trick.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yo.
That part's fucking cool. She's like one of my favorite characters to watch in that movie, just because she's such a fucking whore.
Yeah.
It's the whole part in the gas station where she's showing her ass to distract the clerks.
You boys got sour balls.
You must not get a lot of blowjobs then. Yeah,
it's so good.
You know, I will say that it's pretty common for 80s horror movies to have a pretty high level of misogyny, you know, like just piece of shit dudes. This movie is like 10 out of 10 on all the fucking guys are just misogynistic as fuck, dude. The one fat dude is just constantly calling every girl a bitch. He's like, what the fuck's wrong with you, bitch? Yeah, the fucking Stooge, dude. I hate that guy.
His name says it all. He's fucking Stooge.
He wears like a fucking pig snout, you know, very fitting. Yeah. He's a fucking asshole, dude. God damn. I wish he would have. How did he die in the film? Did he he didn't die, he got turned into a demon, obviously, but what happened to him again? What was his fate?
Oh, dude, I'm trying to blank. I haven't watched it.
He didn't get set on fire at the end, I think.
I think he was already possessed when he got set on fire. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, okay.
He was, because he was regular demon. Do get his eyes gouged. Because the only two people that survive, which to the credit of them is the black guy and the main girl,
Yeah.
and he was
And-
like the hero.
And
So it's like crazy.
He was like one of the only guys, like him and her were the only ones who really didn't deserve to die because they weren't really assholes at all. Like everybody kind of had their thing, you know, they were kind of showing like they were sinning, you know, whereas these two people, I don't recall them ever really doing anything.
Partaken.
Yeah, they like, they were nice fucking kids, so they deserved to
Yeah,
win.
exactly.
I kind of wish the girl had died though. Like at the end when she's trying to get up the wall and he makes it over, I kind of wish he had just survived and they would have killed her. I don't know.
Yeah. See, there's a lot of little things in there, like little details, like they locked the door, but the door won't. The house is haunted, so it's like controlling the houses, but it can't open its own door because it's locked, but it can bust the hinges, you know. And so that's why they dressed the main character as Alice in Wonderland, so they could kind of get away with some of the nonsensical things to kind of put it subtly as if like, you know, it's all like messing with her head.
I didn't even
thing.
notice that, the Alice in Wonderland bit. It's something.
Yep. So that was a nice little slide thing. But what I want to bring up about the Linnea Quigley, she actually ended up marrying the special effects guy in that movie, which I thought was a cool little tidbit. I was like, wow, that's crazy, you know. And that movie made a lot of people, you know. A lot of those dudes were just now coming up, or, you know, a lot of the females. The main character was a waitress, and that movie helped start her entire career. But let's talk about my favorite person of the movie, Angela. Angela is
The goth chick.
amazing. Yes, she is awesome. And she's, you know, she was a dancer and stuff in music videos, and she landed that movie because her aunt was one of the Golden Girls. So her aunt had pulled some things and made it happen so she could get an audition, and then, she got the role, and started her whole career in acting. But Angela, I think, is one of my favorite villains. You know, like just that the scariness. She didn't have to be she was just more like, you know, that weird, sadistic, creepy.
And she had some good one-liners, you know, here and there.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I was just warming up my hands. And she has them on fire when she's Yeah, I love that. And then she's dancing, and she just keeps dancing and dancing. It's just going.
I like the dance that she does. That's like some Wednesday level type shit. Not quite as trippy, but it's like, it's pretty symbolic, you know? It's, so I know that the movie spawned a lot of sequels, right?
Two
sequels
and then a remake.
Yeah,
But
the remake.
We don't act
remake
like that
came
exists.
on. It came on right after I finished watching it on Tubi, and I seen maybe like 5 minutes of it, and I seen that they cast it as the new goth chick, and I was just like, nah.
Did you see the dude from Terminator?
The
The little kid from Terminator?
What?
John Connor? John Connor is in there, and he's like dressed as John Connor. He's wearing like the same jacket, and I'm like, what?
The fuck? They're just having
it's
fun
fucking
at that
crazy.
point. Damn.
Yeah, and I was like, all right. Yeah, I've only watched the remake one time. I actually don't exist, but the third one's okay. The third one's pushing it, but the first two, the second one's actually really cool. It's about Angela's like little sister, Mouse, and so they all go back. So Angela's a part of the house now, right? So she's like, she's full demon possessed, stuck in the house. And it starts off with some Jehovah's Witnesses going to knock on the door, and she invites him in for a slice of devil cake. And you know what happens. She takes him out. But the second one is really, really dope. But first one just has way better practical effects. The first one, I think, is a testament to 80s culture, 80s horror, and practical effects. It's just, to me, that's one of the pillar movies if you want to look back at what 80s had to offer. And it's just so creatively done. And I think they went about it because the guys who created that movie weren't horror movie creators. You know, one of them, he did a Witchboard, the director of Witchboard, which is a horror movie, but it plays out like a drama, you know? And they wanted to just go balls to the wall with Night of the Demons and just make it a roller coaster ride. I think they succeeded, you know. I love all the little things that they added in there, like the demons' voices. They just put a microphone inside a trash can, and that's how they recorded it.
Yeah. And
You know,
a lot
like,
of the
man.
sounds, a lot of the audio sounded very watery in a way, like it was almost doubled, but like slightly delayed in a way. And I don't know if that was intentional or if it was maybe just the rendering on Tubi that I was watching, or I don't know what it was. It was just something I noticed. It was very
Honestly,
interesting.
I got the 2K Steelbook version that Shout Factory just did. And God, it looks so good to see it all crisp like that. And you can really, when you watch it in that higher definition, you really take into respect the level that special effects was done, the makeup was done. You know,
sometimes it doesn't translate. Sometimes for VHS to DVD, you can see a lot of the mistakes and shit. So if it holds up still, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, because like you said, when you go from VHS up to DVD, you notice. But when you go from DVD to 4K or whatever it is, then you really start to notice things. But
on these big
Night of the
TVs.
Demons holds it. You actually gain more of an appreciation for it. When you see Linnea Quigley done up, or Angela with half of her face burned, you're just like, oh my! Like there's like 4 layers of latex going on there. You know, they're sitting in that chair for 11 hours getting that stuff plastered on them. So. Yeah, I love this movie. It's one of my favorite. You guys definitely go check out Night of the Demons if you haven't. I'm sure some of you will agree with me. It is an 80s classic.
Yep, and at the time of this podcast being recorded, it is free on Tubi. For how long? I don't know. All right, and we are back, and we're here to talk about some zombies.
Oh.
Yes, sir. So there is a lot of controversy about, you know, what a zombie is, what it isn't, where they started, where they came from, how far they've come. Let's just talk about it. You know, nothing super definitive. Let's just have a good conversation, a good ghoulish conversation. So, what is your knowledge of the roots of zombie?
All right, so I think the original zombies would come from like voodoo, you know, the voodoo zombies. You know, that's that's where it originated from. Was the, you know, voodoo zombies. You're under my control. Like in the old movies, the zombies weren't walking dead; they were more brain dead minions that were following the master. You know, that was what zombies were. And then we get into more of where we are today. I think that is largely due to George A. Romero and his depiction of the zombie.
Hey, what's crazy about that is we all know that his depiction wasn't even zombies. He called them ghouls, you know? So he never once called them zombies, at least not at the start, not around Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead. So the fact that our modern day association with them is basically the George A. Romero ghouls, and we call those zombies, is just pretty interesting. And just to see how far they've come from being just slow-moving, dull, undead humans to being fucking ravenous monsters that just want to eat your brains and rip your heart out. And it's a pretty crazy evolution. You know, there's a lot of different types of zombies out there, especially in thanks to shows like Z Nation or Walking Dead, or even movies like World War Z and I Am Legend. You know, it's pretty crazy.
See, when it comes to zombies, like, I think the most brutal depiction is the Korean version of zombies from Train to Busan. I really think that is something unique. It's contorting and twisting. And
now, are those virus zombies?
Yes.
That's what I thought. And those are arguably the scariest ones.
Virus zombies are always the scariest ones, right? Like,
they're unpredictable, you know? They don't have a motive, but they're after whatever it is they want.
It seems like the undead zombies are always the more...
Yeah, I would take an undead zombie than a virus zombie any fucking day. Unfortunately, we're probably going to end up with the virus zombies. If it ever really does happen, it's gonna be the virus ones, unfortunately, so we're kind of fucked there.
Yeah, we're not getting reanimator zombies, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunately. But speaking of I Am Legend, apparently that was actually a book. I forget how long ago it was written. Maybe it was like the 50s or something like that. But yeah, that was a book that predated Night of the Living Dead. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that was what I read, and I think it was accurate.
Yeah, that is accurate. That is pretty cool. That is really cool, actually. One one of my favorite depictions of zombies is a movie called De la Morte de l'Amor, aka Cemetery Man, an Italian movie. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Cemetery Man is amazing. I love that movie so much. I named 2 songs after it. So
damn, I've never heard of it. What do you know if it's streaming on anything?
It's probably on Tubi, I would imagine.
And it's called Cemetery Man. That's the English translation, I assume?
Yep, Cemetery Man. And if you like Reanimator, it is, I call it the companion to the original Reanimator.
Okay.
And you'll love it. Anybody out there who can find the movie, please go watch it. Very creative. But yeah.
It sounds like a good film. If I had to pick my favorite zombie movie, I think I already said it on episode, was it episode 1? Dead Alive is got to be my favorite fucking zombie movie out there. Just based on, that's when if I'm going for, an 80s classic zombie movie that, brains, all that shit, it'd be that one, but I'd follow it up with Return of the Living Dead. One of my favorites.
See, Dead Alive is my favorite movie of all time, so I try not to over-pick that movie because it covers all aspects for me. But if I was just looking at zombies, De la Morte de l'Amor is the one for me.
I'm gonna have to watch that one tonight. I ain't got nothing on my radar for tonight. So, yeah. So let's think about this. Surviving a zombie apocalypse. I'm sure most horror fans.
Before we dive in, we totally skipped over the entire Italian zombie bonanza that went on. So shout out Luci Fulci and his depictions of zombies. That is iconic. The Beyond. Those zombies in The Beyond are another amazing depiction of zombies I really enjoy.
And I had bought some of those. What was the one I got from you? Was it a Fulci one, or it was City of the Dead?
Oh, was it City of the Dead?
That was one of the ones I'm pretty sure I got from you, and that when you brought
Burial
over
Ground.
There was a couple in there, but I think City of the Dead was one of them that you sold me or something.
Yeah, it might have been. I think I gave you a copy of Burial Ground too.
Okay.
There were so many zombie movies coming out in the 80s that it was hard to keep up. Everybody wanted to get a piece of that. So much so when Luci Fulci made his, it was labeled as Zombie 2, a sequel to George A. Romero's film, even though it had no correlation whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Gotta love when they do shit like that.
Yeah, I think that's the funniest thing ever. They're always doing that, especially over there in Europe and Italy. Especially in Italy, they're just cranking that out. It'd be like Lamberto Bava's Demons 1 and 2, and then it'll be like The Ogre, The Demon 3, Black Demons, Demons 3. It's what's going on? There's 20 sequels of this movie, and none of them are connected.
Yeah, none of them are canon. They're just for the sake of getting people to come in the theater and watch it, So, well, really quick, let's go over the different types of zombies that we are aware of. Right off the top, you got your dumbass Night of the Living Dead type zombies. The slow fucking undead.
Walking Dead zombies. I kind of group those together because they are the same. Walking Dead zombies and George A. Romero zombies.
Yeah, the ghouls.
Original George A. Romero zombies. Let's clarify that.
Yeah, and then you got things that are Zemens, zombie demons, things like that. I would chalk. I wouldn't really say. We just got done talking about Night of the Demons. Those are almost pushing it towards demons because they were kids that died and now they're possessed and they're demons.
That is borderline. It's a gray area.
Same with Evil Dead. Those are deadites, obviously, but I would almost categorize them as demons. They're zombie demons, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then you have, and then I kind of look at say I Am Legend. Those aren't traditional zombies either. To me, anyways, they remind me of a mix of vampires and zombies, right? Because they can't go out in the sunlight or they'll fucking die. And they're a little smarter, but they're still very zombie-like. So I don't know what you would call that. A zampire? A
zombie.
A zombie. Yeah, there you go. With the V, hard V. There's tons of different ones. Then we talk about the virus zombies from 28 Days Later and Train to Busan. What I liked about Z Nation is that they kind of expanded on the zombie lore And did you ever watch that show at all?
I think I watched the first episode like a zombie baby or something.
That's one of the episodes. Yeah, dude, it's a great show, and it only gets better because it doesn't take itself too serious, and the whole concept
I always thought it was a ripoff of The Walking Dead.
Oh, not at all, dude. It has its own thing going on. So it revolves around the main character, Murphy. He's kind of the main character. And he was hit with an experimental vaccine. He was a prisoner, hit with this vaccine against the outbreak, and he ended up not turning into a zombie, but he got...
Hit with what you say.
Right, right. And the prison got overran, and he got bit like by a shit ton of zombies, but he didn't die from it. So he was like the only person who didn't change from being bit. And now his powers end up growing throughout the show, and it gets to the point where the zombies won't attack him and stuff, and then he can kind of control the zombies. He can turn other people into his own zombie like slaves and shit. But he's kind of like a funny guy, you know. He's not like a fucking villain, really. So like the first 3 seasons, it's just him and his party that he's with, you know, going around the country, and each episode has a different theme. It's a funny show, dude. It's funny, but it has like great horror, and I recommend it, man. It's one of my favorite zombie TV shows. It is my favorite zombie TV show. I don't think anything beats it. It makes The Walking Dead look like shit, to be honest.
Yeah, see, I think The Walking Dead reopened the zombie phenomena.
Well, to the mainstream for sure, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's too dramatic. I can't get into it because it's too dramatic.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of drama in it, that's for sure. And after a while, it just like The Walking Dead, you know, with the older zombie style, like what they chose to do, you know, after a while, it just becomes mundane. You know, it's just the same. You're slow. Oh no, you didn't move your arm in time. You're bit. Now there's this movie called The Sadness. Now, this is a different kind. I don't even know if you'd classify them as zombies. Have you ever seen The Sadness?
No.
Or you never?
Never heard of it.
Oh, okay. You definitely have to watch that. It is the most brutal depiction of zombie. It's like Train to Busan meets... what do I even say? I don't even know how to... So these people get infected with a virus that makes them rage-filled and sadistic. So they get pleasure, like pure joy on causing pain to others. And it all takes place like Hong Kong, and it's rough. It's a very rough film. And they pay homage to Irreversible with wow. They pay homage to Serbian film. They do scenes, as soon as you see them, they were very pivotal scenes in those movies that you remember, you know, and it's like, yeah,
I will check that one out because that sounds pretty legendary to say the least. So
yes,
I mean, we talked a couple different types of zombies. What I was getting at with the Z Nation thing is they have like these mutated zombies that were close to like power plants and shit. And so mutation from the world ending, you know, like radiation
almost Resident
runoff.
Evil style.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then we got like Resident Evil style zombies too. I don't really know what you fucking even call. That's like more of a virus type thing.
That's like a bioengineered zombie.
It's like a hive mind almost kind of thing, right? Yeah.
I mean, then you got like people like Nemesis, you know, or like these huge mutant bio monster zombies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The world of zombies is just, you know, it's like DNA strains or molecules, you know, they just keep branching out more and more. And you got like all these different aspects of things. And you got like Return of the Living Dead, which is my favorite version of the classic zombies, period. Also starring Linnea Quigley.
It was a great fucking movie.
Brains, you know, that's where it came from. Tarman. The wanting to eat brains originated from that movie.
I can feel myself. I love that shit.
Good. Send more paramedics.
Yes, that's the fucking best scene. Yep, that's such a good movie, dude. And the guy who plays Tommy Jarvis, you know, in that shit, acting a fool. So, all right, well, let's talk really quick about how we would survive a zombie apocalypse. I say it's safe to assume that it's virus zombies that we'd be dealing with, since that's the most realistic thing. Let's hear your survival strategy. I mean, you can't beat the zombie apocalypse; you can only survive it. So, what would you do, Enokh?
I would invest in getting as close to a water source as possible, a large water source. Here in Michigan, I have all these lakes, so I go straight to Lake Michigan. I would somehow confiscate myself a yacht or something along those lines that I could survive on, and I would just be out there chilling, That's where that'd be my survival instinct right there. Because unless we're dealing with zombies from Land of the Dead, where they just walk on the bottom of the damn ocean, or the
come
lake.
Up with a gun.
Yeah, come up with a gun. Yeah. I think I'll be fine.
Oh shit! So you just be chilling on the water, fucking just doing acid and just fucking
I could
spitting
just
bars.
go coast. Yeah, I can just go coast to coast, pull up. Like in the UP, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, man, it's very dense woods and there's not many people. Boom, I'm set. I just go up there.
All right,
that'd be the best bet for me. And I mean, you're close. You could pull off the same thing as me.
I can go on Lake Superior. It'd be easy.
Yep.
So, with my strategy, I didn't really think about the water thing. That is a good idea. I would say head north, but we're already north as far as United States go. You go to where it's cold, where the winters are brutal because the zombies can't really do shit in the wintertime. They're gonna freeze up. I don't care how fucking immortal you might be. You're gonna freeze up.
Yeah. They're gonna be frozen solid. The higher up you go, but then you risk the chance of freezing. I think you better just join me on the boat. We can fish.
But what you gonna do in the wintertime? Because even in Michigan, it get cold in the winter.
You're right. That's when we go over to the nuclear power plant.
I mean, you're gonna have to have some like space heaters, maybe some solar.
Yeah, I think that we have a nuclear power plant right there on Lake Michigan, and they keep that boy locked down.
I don't know if I want to be by a power plant in the apocalypse, man. Ain't nobody running that shit. It's bound to either blow up soon or have already malfunction and radiation runoff. Like I was saying with Z Nation, I wouldn't trust that. I wouldn't even go near that shit.
Then we risk the chance of getting superpowers.
That's true. You might get a good
Toxic
mutation.
Avenger style.
Yep. I would say, next to going north, I would settle in a small town, not too small, but like pretty small. Like maybe like 5,000 people or something, 10,000 people. Just enough, because if you're in a city, shit can get crazy real quick. That's a lot of fucking zombies.
No way. Yeah, New York, LA, any big city like that, if you live there in a zombie apocalypse, your chance of survival is bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
The small town, got to at least have a couple grocery stores like a Walmart, Target, shit like that, so we can loot up for the first few years, get the non-perishables, you know what I mean? But I'd be building melee weapons, crossbows, silent weapons.
That's another thing too, is if the zombie apocalypse happened, I am not running to Walmart, Meijer. I'm not running to any of the big box stores. What I'm doing is running straight to the factories where they produce these things, because this is where the normal people are going to go. You're going to have so much competition, people violently attacking each other. Now, if you go to the factories or the distribution centers where they send out the trucks to these places, that's where you make out.
True.
You
That's
ain't
a
got
good point.
no competition. Give me the whole semi.
Yep, that's a good idea. That's fucking smart. You'd be a good survival buddy to have, because I didn't even think of that. Yeah, one thing that I've always wanted to kind of do in the zombie apocalypse is just like kind of build a camp by a water tower so I can climb that motherfucker and just snipe zombies off the fucking water tower for fun. That'd be so fun.
So good at it. You got the eagle eye.
Yeah. Obviously you'd have to have you have to get some generators too for power and figure out a way to make fuel, like potatoes or something, make gas. I don't fucking know. There's a way to do it.
I can only hope that it would lead more to Mad Max world than it would like anything else. I think that would just be awesome. I've always wanted to like build one of them cool vehicles, or like I like chain link fenced over the windshield and a chainsaw slot on my door. Man,
that'd be the way to do it.
That.
So I mean, like between both of our ideas, that'd be a good survival plan. I mean, you could in the summertime hang out on a fucking yacht. In the wintertime, you could fucking kill zombies. I mean, the good thing about winter is that when they're all frozen up, you can just go around and spring clean, fucking clean house, kill all the frozen zombies. So in the summertime, you have significantly less.
Gather them up on tarps and drag them into a pen and build a moat around your spot. 10 foot by 10 foot. Anybody tries to come in and spawn into a pit of frozen zombies that de-thaw.
That's a good idea.
And
then we start a commune, like a crazy hippie commune and shit, and just do tons of fucking drugs.
Yeah, we go and find some chemists who can synthesize the DMT right out of the back of the zombies' brains.
I mean, it's the apocalypse. What else are you gonna fucking do? Like, anything goes
dude.
in the apocalypse fucking party.
Extract DMT from zombies. That's all you can do.
I mean, the thing
Right
is,
out of their pineal gland.
you're trying to survive as long as you can, but you also got to have as much fun as you can while you're doing it, because otherwise, what are you surviving for? Just to suffer more? You gotta
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta cope with it.
You gotta party in the zombie apocalypse. You know, you just got to.
I'm waiting for it, man. I can't wait for the zombie apocalypse. I'm fucking ready. I've been building weapons already. I got to spike that just for that shit.
Building zombie or any apocalypse weapons, like one of the coolest pastimes. Like, just take a baseball bat, saw it a little bit in the middle, put a saw blade in there.
Yep.
Put a giant anchor bolt. Boom. There you go. You got.
It's fun.
That video game. What is it? Dead Rising. Where you're building all the. No. Dead Rising. It was the one where you're building all the weapons. You ever played that?
I played Dead Rising.
Knives on boxing gloves and chainsaws on the kayak paddles. Like, dude,
Dead Rising is good, but if you've never played Dying Light, dude, that is a far superior zombie game in my opinion. Dying Light. It's like it's a first-person zombie game, but it implements parkour, so you can like jump around buildings and climb buildings and shit. And the mechanics, it is the best gameplay mechanics I've ever played on a video game, dude. It is so intuitive how the game works, and the graphics are amazing. It's from 2015, but it's hands down the best zombie video game I've ever touched in my life. And I've played a lot. Look up a trailer of it later. I'll send you a trailer.
I have to check that out. When I go to play zombie video games, I usually just play Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, well, the story of this one too, it has like just the best story to, accompany how amazing the gameplay is, and the gore aspect of it. It's the people that made, do you remember Dead Island, the first one?
Yep.
It was the people who made that, I believe, Techland, went on to make Dying Light next, and it's a far superior game to whatever Dead Island was. I mean, I played Dead Island too, but it makes that game look like shit. It's fucking tops, man. It's really good. But I don't want to harp on that.
Stay up and keep making zombie games. We need more horror games in general.
Yep.
They're actually good. Shout out to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That game is real cool, but you need to give us a game, any game where it's not hide and seek, and we can just actually play as the killer. I just want a game where I'm Jason Voorhees and I'm just working my way through Camp Crystal Lake. Not playing hide and seek, but upgrading my chainsaw and my mask so I can become Jason X, where Jason goes to hell.
Two things. One, they got the Killer Clowns from Outer Space game comes out in a couple weeks, like 2 weeks.
Is that another tag game?
It's similar to the Friday the 13th game that came out. It's made by Ilphonic.
Hide and seek style.
Yeah, but you know what I heard is that Friday the 13th is supposed to get a new video game that's a story mode based game, like what you're talking about, where you play as Jason, and it looks good. I will play that. I will play that, like the original Evil Dead games. If anyone ever played those for PS2, Regeneration, and Fistful of Boomstick, you're Ash, and you're just going through a town, and you got your boomstick and your chainsaw. That's sick. That's so cool. I hate this, and I love it because I could talk about horror video games for another 15 minutes, but I think that's where we'll wrap up this segment. You guys let us know down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, how would you survive a zombie apocalypse? What would your strategy be to survive and have as much fun as you can?
Now we're coming back, and I had mentioned Tubi earlier. Now, we're going to take a dive into this week's review, into a film that people have been calling the best horror film of 2024. And of course, I went into it very skeptical, being a Tubi original film. I have seen some Tubi original films, and I'm not impressed when they have the Tubi original tag on it. But what do you think about this one?
Lowlifes. I think that it, well, first let's preface this by saying that if you haven't seen the movie, we're going to give you guys a spoiler-free review here, and then we're going to follow it up with a bunch of spoilers. So
yes,
basically, I think that, to say it's the best horror movie of 2024 at first sounds like a big statement to make, but then you kind of look back at what we've got so far this year, and it doesn't seem like the bar is too high.
Yeah, it's not a very ambitious title to hold, in 2024.
Even just thinking about it, I've seen like every horror movie worth seeing this year that's been like talked about, This one kind of went under the radar. It came out last April, or not last April, like a month ago, you know. And I didn't hear about it until you brought it up to me, and now I'm seeing other people posting about it like this. Like just today, I seen people posting about it and saying they loved it, right? So maybe it is the best horror movie of 2024. That's up for you guys to decide. I think it's good. I think that it offers what we've talked about with having a good twist to a familiar concept, and I love when movies do that because it kind of hits you and it surprises you. It's definitely one of those. What are your thoughts on it overall?
Like you said, the twist. Now, it caught me by surprise. I did not expect it to go the way it went. You go into the movie thinking, okay, I've seen this before. Okay, you know, but you haven't, and it takes you in a direction where you don't expect it to, you know, and I love that. I actually really enjoyed the film. I thought it was pretty well done. I thought the camera work was actually really, really well done. You know, usually when they have like these Tubi originals, they're like shot on video kind of style film. But this one, I don't know what kind of camera they used, but they used an amazing camera.
And
some of the shots were really good.
They had a really warm color grade to it also, which kind of gave it a more
homey feel.
Yeah, like a comforting type of horror movie vibe, if that makes sense. It's not like cold 100%. And grimy, you know. Yeah,
it did have that. And yeah, so we'll start going into some of the I don't want to start ruining it.
Well, yeah, so I mean, go watch the movie if you guys are interested in it. Lowlifes, people are saying it's the best of 2024. Go check it out and then come back and hear us what we really have to say. We're going to get into the spoilers now and start really talking about the movie. Let's hear it.
All right, so straight off the rip, you know, you got this family who, you know, a family of four, you know, typical American family, and they're camping, and you have some backwoods type people coming up, you know, almost they're giving the vibes of Delivery, squeal like a pig boy vibes. And you think, okay, these guys got to be up to something.
They added a little bit of suspense there with that. I liked the level of realistic suspense they were building with that encounter.
Like, dude, when the daughter comes back and the dad's like, get in the RV. The guy's like, can I go in there too?
Yeah, like, this is such a fucking pig.
Jeez. Yes.
You know, and it could have continued to go the way that you thought it was going to go, and I still probably would have still thought it was a good horror movie, even though it was something we had seen before. It kind of had like a Devil's Rejects vibe to it, going on with, you know, the hick motherfuckers trying to...
Yep, from the very beginning, you thought for sure it's going to be some backwoods torture porn style movie.
Yeah, but
then it flips it on its fucking head.
Yeah.
And it caught me off guard instantly.
Yeah.
I could not...
I didn't expect that kid to be the first one to fucking kill somebody, the fucking son.
Yeah, so the family gets in the RV and we got to leave, you know, and they seem very concerned about what just happened with the interaction with these two fellers. And, well, their truck is broke down right on the only road out. And you're like, oh, man, well, one of them's got a shotgun. This ain't good.
And they're blocking the fucking road.
Yep, exactly. So you're like, okay. And then the leader of the two, you know, the smarter one, sends the goofier dude, you know, he's like, yo, can you give him a ride into town or, you know, to his pa's house so he gets some gas? And the father's finally like, yeah, sure, okay. And the mom, she's like, no, don't do it. They get him in the RV. They're driving on down. And, you know, he's making slick remarks towards the daughter. Delicious. And things like that. And the whole time, these two dudes are looking for their missing friend. And, you know, that's like, and you're thinking, okay, they're just making this guy up. That's just their excuse to harass this family.
Yeah, totally what you're saying. It's like just a clear diversion.
Yep.
Yeah. These guys are genuinely fucking, they're just genuine ass. I mean, they're pretty shitty people, don't get me wrong, but they're not fucking killers, you know.
And he grabs that notebook. He's like, wait a second. This looks like my buddy's handwriting. And then like the 14-year-old kid's like, and just starts gutting this dude's throat.
Dude, let's talk about his knives that he uses. They're like, it's like two fucking knives put together, so it's like double-sided blade, super fucking cool looking.
Yeah, super, super cool looking. It almost reminds me of like something that Wesley Snipes would use in Blade. That's the exact vibes I got from that.
You know, kudos to that kid though. He was a pretty good actor, because before he saw that he was a killer, he seemed like an innocent kid. He legitimately seemed like an innocent kid, and then when he starts killing, he gets this fucking crazy look on his face, like he's just into what he's doing. He's just like, is going at the fucking guy, and
he sells it. He sells it. You got the same haircut as the delusion, the wannabe serial killer from American Horror Story 4, and the dude who wants to be the clown, rich pretty boy, same haircuts. It looks identical. He just looks like a younger version of that guy. I was like, whoa, what? Maybe it's his brother or something in real life. I don't know. Crazy resemblance, but
yeah,
sure enough, they got his homeboy he was looking for, you know, those country boys, chopped up in the fucking freezer. And they're a family of cannibals.
Yep, big twist. Yep, the whole family is fucking cannibals. And this is like your straight, like, suburban, like, picture-perfect family. Like, the dad looks like he could be from Back to the Future or something. He has, like, the big glasses and the haircut and shit, you know? It's just
straight edge looking, you know, clean suburbia. And the mom hands the daughter the eyeballs in a bag, and the son's like, why don't you always get the eyes?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And man, and then they show up at old Paul's house where Billy was on his way, supposed to get the ride to, and he has 2 sisters or nieces or whatever, cousins, and you know, good-looking girls, young. And so they, you know, being Southern hospitality, they invite this poor family in.
Big mistake.
Yes. Oh, my God. And they send out that dinner table, and, you know, the family is like, okay, well, we're about to poison this family with these little chocolate bars. You know, that was their go-to, the little kid. Totally. But this big-ass dude walks in. Big motherfucker. What's his name? Big Mac?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And, honestly,
yeah.
I did not think that was going to go the way it was. I was kind of, you know, throughout the movie, you really don't know who to root for. You're like, should I root for the cannibals? Should I root for the Hicks? You know, it could go either way. In my head, I was like, I hope it like becomes like a battle where they're like both sides are killing off each other's side. It doesn't go that way though. It's like the cannibal family is just straight killing the other side off pretty easily, so actually.
Once they poisoned the big dude, that was like the only Hicks defense, and he is rendered pretty useless, you know, to the point where the kid, the 14-year-old or 15-year-old kid, actually takes out the big ass dude in a sadistic manner, even though the father told him not to. But that's how you know the kid's really into this shit.
Yeah, and I had wished that the kid would have died there. I really was rooting for Big Mac. I was like, kill the fucking kid. That. Yeah, because you don't like him. You don't. He just gives off that energy. You're just like, dude, fuck this kid.
Fuck this kid. Like, I despised him the entire movie. You know, was not a fan. And I really did not like the father. Like,
you didn't like the father? I liked the father. He was my favorite, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, I just thought he was because he didn't seem like what he was, you know, it made him more sinister.
Yeah, he was an amazing character, don't get me wrong. I just hated the how do I say it? The energy that he had. It was just like delusional, you know, in a sense.
Yeah.
Like so we'll work our ways through the kills. So Big Mac gets killed by the kid. He stabs him up, chops him up. And the dad, while this is happening, he's upstairs with a hatchet. And little old Paul, harmless old man Paul, is sleeping in his little tiny single wide bed in his long johns.
Poor Paul.
Poor Paul.
Poor Paul.
He opens his eyes up. Shink. Right down the middle. They split that old dude open. I'm like, yeah, dude. Poor Paul.
I mean, short work of Paul.
He gets it. Well, the daughter who was given the eyeball earlier to eat, she must have been saving it for a snack later, ends up dropping it in the bathroom. Well, the girl, Big Mac's girlfriend, who also ate the chocolate, became, you know, extremely sick. So she's in the bathroom puking, hurling over. And what does she notice? A Ziploc baggie with an eyeball in it. And then that's when it clicks. Something ain't right. So she goes, and what does she find? She finds old sweet Paul with his head smashed open like a cantaloupe. What the fuck?
Well, backing up a little bit with the scene where the cannibal daughter is making out with the hick daughter and shit.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Take that scene.
And then I loved that scene. And then she like is slowly pulling out the knife because she's going to kill her while they're making out. And then I don't remember what happens, but the hit girl fucking sits up for some reason and knocks the other girl back, and she sits on her own fucking knife and it goes through her leg.
Yeah, it's because they smoked that joint, and she was like, "Yo, I'm too high. I can't do this right now." She sits up, knocks the girl down, knife goes through. And, you know, that's where the one girl, who is our lead protagonist, starts to kind of be like, "Yo, why did she even have a knife?" You know?
I love scenes like that when they don't go the way you think they're going to go. And then the killer gets fucked over. I love shit like that. It makes me laugh my ass off. It's fucking awesome.
Yes. And then, so, the daughter goes out to the one that was making out with the cannibal girl, goes outside and goes into the RV and sees all the bodies that they've been harvesting and sees her cousin Billy, who they just killed. And she's like, okay, what the fuck? And then, sure enough, the family now has captured the other sister who found the eyeball, and they're getting ready to torture and kill her. And the mom's standing there, cannibal mom. She's getting ready to kill her, and all of a sudden, boom, arrow through the neck.
Mm-hmm. I was hoping that the daughter, because it foreshadowed her doing the archery shit early in the movie, I was hoping that it was going to be her actually going and killing all the family members one by one with that bow, because she kind of...
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, they set it up like it was going to be that, but no, it was just the one kill with the bow.
Just
it was
one kill.
It was good.
And it angered me, because the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm just yelling, work the windows! Go around the house, work the windows! They're like standing by the fucking windows. Why are you not shooting arrows constantly through?
Yeah, it didn't make sense there.
That didn't make sense to me, you know. And then that's where the movie's... There's scenes that started to anger me. Like, that just didn't make any sense. What? Then she ends up going inside to confront them, sneaks in, captures the son, and then the dad's like, release my son or I'll kill your daughter. I mean, your sister.
And then she does. She's like, yeah, I'll get rid of my leverage.
Okay. Yeah, here's my leverage. It's like...
fucking stupid, but... Going to the very end of it, dude, how about that fucking extra twist at the end there? You know what I'm talking about?
Angered me.
Really?
I was like, oh, man. Because I don't like the cannibal daughter. I thought she was just a fucking... You know, I didn't like her.
I didn't like her either. But it's like... Basically what happens is the one hit girl that survives, she has an actual gun now, and the cannibal daughter's running out of the house away from her. And the hit girl goes and chases her outside, holds up the gun, and at this point, the sheriff is there, and he fucking shoots her in the head, and she drops. And then he thinks the cannibal daughter, or the cannibal girl, is the victim, and takes her in and shit. And
so our main protagonist gets her fucking top blown off, knocks her block off.
It was like Night of the Living Dead ending, dude. It was like when the guy at the end of that movie gets shot by the fucking survivors.
And then the cannibal girl lights up a fat-ass joint, it sneaks up behind the goddamn sheriff, and then all you see is...
Yeah. You know what I wish? I wish in more movies when they smoke joints and weed and shit, that it'd be more realistic. Like, they should show them lighting it, taking a hit, to like, it's canoeing.
Yeah, exactly.
Motherfucker's canoeing, god damn it. It's rolling too tight, you know? I don't know. If I made a horror movie, I would definitely... get into those types of details with it.
Yeah, make it real realistic. You know, a lot of them were probably just props, though. You know, like those electronic fake-looking things or whatever.
Yeah, true. Fuck, I would use real joints in my shit. I don't give a fuck.
So, what's your score on it? Let's get down to the gritty.
Man, my instant score was 8.5 out of 10. Right after watching it, that's what I gave it. Upon thinking about it more, before watching it a second time, I maybe just an 8. I would say, because it could have been better. It was a great movie, but it could have been even better.
It could have been. It left a lot of room for improvement. Not saying that in a harsh way that it wasn't an amazing film, but to me, I'm sitting at about 7. I felt like there's plenty of room to improve. Maybe 7.5, but I don't think that it classified. But see, I don't really know if I could even. I don't really know what all came out this year, like off the top of my head.
That's what I'm saying. I can't even think about what's come out this year.
Destroy All Neighbors. I fucking love that movie. That was 2024, but I can't really say that's horror. It's horror comedy. You know?
This one kind of had comedy to it too. It wasn't straight horror.
Yeah,
it was like maybe 90% horror, 10% comedy, roughly.
Yeah. So I mean, it couldn't be in the talks for it. Maybe
I think it's
in the
so
standing
far.
right now. Yeah, standing right now.
And again, that's without actually going back and looking at a list of movies that have come out this year, and just it stands out for now. I can't think of any other ones. If there was a really good one that came out this year, it's not coming out in my head. And I feel like if it was that good, it would be an instant no-brainer.
It would have left a great impression. You know? So, yeah, I agree with you there. So, Lowlifes, Tubi, original. Go check it out. It's definitely worth the watch. Yeah, it's free.
Yeah.